Welcome everyone. Today I will be doing one of my very first tutorials. It is gonna be on how to run Killer Shack. It's gonna be a beginner's guide as some more experienced tricks on how to run Killer Shack. I'm able to do this thanks to my bot friend XPLGs, who will play as a bot Wraith. So let's get started. One of the most important tricks to do here is when you go towards the window vault, it is very important that you don't keep on running. You need to slow walk there in order to still be able to get a fast vault, but you will be able to watch whether his red stain is coming or not. More experienced killers will be able to hide their red stain, which will be a double back, so when you would instantly vault and not slow walk to watch for the red stain, they will be able to catch you off guard, hence why we try to use this trick. In this example I will fuck up twice. I will vault once, but I will have enough distance to vault back. But on the second try you will see that Dead Hard is going to be a crutch perk for this situation. On this example, I did not use the trick to slow walk towards the vault, and I instantly vaulted. So more experienced killer will double back this, as you can see in the example. And the only thing saving me here is Dead Hard. But of course we don't want to have situations where a perk needs to save you. In this clip you can clearly see that I did the slow walking towards the vault, which made me able to see his red stain and the fact that he double backed it. Hence why we don't make a mistake here. Something really important in this situation: if you do not have your movement towards the window, you will lose time on turning back towards the window, which you can see the first example where I get downed because of the fake double back. But on the next example you will see that I will have time enough because my movement is towards the window, facing it. A last very important trick, but a little bit more advanced and situational as well, is faking out windows. I will show you here how to fake a window. So basically I'm flicking my camera upwards so that the killer thinks that I'm gonna make a vault. A really experienced killer will not fall for this because your item normally goes away during a vault. Also the window vault in this situation is a 50-50. Either you vault or you fake it. And if the killer is a little bit smart, he will block off the window. Now on to the next clip. Of course, DBD has multiple killers, so it's easy to show on a bot Wraith. But what about Huntress, for example? Huntress is a completely different way of gaming. A proper Huntress will pre-charge for the window to throw a headshot, so you can't make the vault. Hence why you have to fake this, for example. Running an outside wall on a Huntress is pretty important to hug the wall. And at the moment that she will yeet her headshot, you will have to fake outwards. Yet again, good Huntresses will flick you. The next thing I will show you is hiding behind this boxing shack. I see quite a lot of newer players do this, but a really experienced Huntress will most likely hit this. We call this the Wema tech because one of my best buddies, Wema TV, also on Twitch and YouTube, has shown us that this is not hard to hit. I basically made this video together with XPLGs, who is a great killer, but when it comes to Huntress, he's not one of the best Huntresses. So XPL hitting these shots literally proves that a more experienced Huntress will absolutely hit these. Like the previous one that I showed you, the Wema tech, even if you're crouched, they can hit you. So you always have to watch out with these. This trick is a rather small and stupid trick, but sometimes it works, so I felt like putting it in. Basically, people call this corner ticking, where you hide behind a corner just before you run in. so that the killer loses you out of sight. This is a little bit of an exaggeration on how to fake out the pellet when it's dropped, but remember guys, do not be a fucking bot and drop it on 5 gens left. On to our next killer, the Deathslinger, aka Resident Slinger or Baldy Boy. The Bolt Slinger has a M2 power which can reel you in, so basically even when you vault a window he will be able to get the hit. The way of playing against the Bolt Slinger on Shack is rather the same than a Huntress, faking out the window for example. The only really big difference you have to take care of is that Bolt Slinger, same as Huntress by the way, will be able to be charging on the corner of Shack and watching you pass through the window, which again will result in a hit. So always watch back. Now, when it comes to Deathslinger, there are quite some shots that really experienced Deathslingers will be able to hit. I took this inspiration from Drita Jane, who is a great Deathslinger. Many hits that I would never expect to hit, so I will show you a few in the next clips. Next up on the list is the Nurse. She is very hard to play against and there are only a few tricks. The basic trick that I can tell you right now is literally to break line of sight. As you can see in the following clips, I always try to break line of sight. I cannot tell you too much on how to do this or that because, as I said before, really experienced nurses will always easily clap you. But still, the best way to go around is break line of sight. Now, a good nurse will always use her first blink to get within line of sight and her second blink to get a hit. So you will see we are exaggerating of course for the tutorial, but if you're going against a really good nurse you will always try to get that first line of sight blink. Here a small trick is to lure her into the shack with faking the window. For the next killer, I'm not gonna make it too long because, you know, you have to be a bot to not be able to outplay with a spirit on Shack, especially when they run Strider. For a spirit, it is really important to know that they will be looking towards your scratch marks, so a good thing to do is to vault and immediately vault back, but make it a slow vault. In this clip I accidentally did a fast vault, but if you would make it a slow vault they would think that you are on one side, but basically you are on the other. Also remember that mind games are a big thing on the spirit, where you will be able to stand still and mind game the survivors. So one really good thing that I can say, I didn't show it in this clip, is to flashlight, and if they get blinded they are not phasing, if they're not getting blinded they are in phase. The next killer is one of the newer killers, the Executioner, aka Conehead. Basically the Conehead, I can't say too much about it. It is very important to be unpredictable on your movement. When you're running outside of Shack and you would go to a long wall for example, it will try and hit you through the walls, so you have to be unpredictable on your movement. That is one of the biggest tips on this killer. As you can see here by the long wall run and the windows, try to be as unpredictable as possible. Make noises towards a window vault for example, but don't vault it. Make noises towards the Shack pallet for example, but don't drop it and just get away. It's literally about not really breaking line of sight, which you would do with a nurse, but about being unpredictable in your movement. The new killer blight is one of the harder ones to run check on, basically because a good blight will always get a curve on you, as you can see in the first clip. So one of the few tricks in my opinion is to hide behind one of the lockers when you loop inside. Going against Leatherface aka Bobatron will probably show you the perk Bamboozle, which blocks a window for a certain amount of time. The only thing I can say when you see a bamboozled window is make sure to get the hell out of check and find yourself another loop. So this was my first tutorial on how to loop check. It was a beginner's tutorial, and as I said before, I am not a pro survivor, so do not listen to me all the time. But one final trick that I can give you is, please do remember, never touch Booba's chest.
I've practiced that a lot.